Question. What we found over the years is that a lot of times the question that you have, other folks around you have it. So if it's relevant, if it's on point to our presentation, we can talk about an answer to your question. If it's a little off point, then maybe we can talk offline. But certainly if you have a question, raise your hand and we'll answer questions as we go through. So just to get started, you turn to the first page of the materials here tonight. There's an introduction. Be aware, be very aware. There are a plethora of laws that, as a landlord, you have to be cognizant of, understand, and follow. If you don't, you can run into some real problems. I like to say that being a landlord in the state of New Jersey is like walking through a minefield. There's a bunch of pitfalls that you have to be wary of. There's a Supreme Court case in which a justice of the Supreme Court, right, Judge Fast? A justice of the Supreme Court in the state of New Jersey said, it's hard being a landlord in the state of New Jersey. True words have never been said. So there's a whole bunch of laws you see there on that first page. We're not going to go through every single one, but you should be aware of them and know that they're relevant to your ownership of property. Turning now to disability and accessibility. Who here has heard of the Fair Housing Act? All right, good, almost everybody. The Fair Housing Act is federal law, and it applies to all of your properties. Okay, and the Fair Housing Act sets forth protected classes. Who here knows the protected classes? Nobody. Okay, well, let's talk about the protected classes. The protected classes under the Fair Housing Act are race or color, religion, sex, national origin, familial status, or disability. Those classes are protected by federal law. You have to be aware of those classes, understand those classes, and the subsets of protections that come with that. For example, let's talk about sex. Now, this is a clean program, so we're not going to go there tonight. But no, sex is a protected class by federal law. Now, what does that mean? That means that sexual harassment is also protected under that section. So how can sexual harassment manifest itself? How can you run into a fair housing issue with sexual harassment? It can be as simple as your superintendent walking through the property and turning to one of the residents saying, "Good morning, beautiful." That could be it. And if the receiver of that comment takes that as being harassment, as being creating a hostile environment, you can have a sexual harassment issue. Sexual harassment is always viewed from the eyes of the person who's receiving the treatment or who's receiving the conduct. So something as innocuous as that, right? Your super's walking through the property, he sees a good-looking girl and he says, "Hey, you're playing beautiful," right? It's a compliment. Maybe in his mind it's a compliment, but under the law you could be running into a problem. I had a client recently who and a apartment complex who was having some work done at the complex, and a contractor, a third-party contractor at the property was doing work. They were there in the morning, and one of the residents' family members was walking out of the unit during the morning, and this happened almost every morning, where the comment was, and I quote, "Hey, Mommy, good morning." And there was a complaint made by that resident, because they took that as creating a hostile environment. They took that as sexual harassment. So we had to jump on that right away. Because one thing about fair housing, and I always see a lot of people look at me with wide eyes when I say this, is fair housing attaches vicarious liability. And that means that things that your staff members do, things that your third-party contractors do while working at your property, well, that attaches to you. So the actions of that third-party contractor upon the property doing work to one of the residents, that liability has to the property owner. So fair housing attaches vicarious liability. So you have to be very cognizant, careful as to who you're hiring to come into your property, on your properties to do work. You can run into a fair housing issue. One of the things I advise clients to do is maybe negotiate a section of your contract with your vendor that they understand the Fair Housing Act. Maybe they sign some kind of indemnification for fair housing issues, just to give you something to attach to in case they do something silly and violate fair housing. It's a silver bullet, no, but it's something. And so you have to be very careful about protecting yourself. Familial status. Well, what's familial status? Anyone have an idea about familial status? Familial status is families, protection of families, folks that have children. And so we have to be very careful about advertising, for instance, that no children or singles preferred, something like that would be a violation of the Fair Housing Act. There's something called the Keating Memo. It's not in the materials here, but the Keating Memo was a memo that was published by Congress some years ago, and it's really the only federal standard that we have for occupancy. And the Keating Memo says 2 people per bedroom is acceptable, right? That's what the Keating Memo says. However, there's litigation out there right now in the United States by an advocacy group suing landlord. And their position is that the Keating Memo is a violation of the Fair Housing Act, that it disparately impacts families by limiting 2 people per bedroom. The position that the plaintiffs are taking in that lawsuit is that the landlord should turn to local building codes, local housing codes as far as occupancy standards, which sometimes have broader and more liberal standards as far as who can live in the apartment. So we'll see how that case comes out, but familial status is something you have to be aware of. Another thing that comes up with familial status sometimes that I've seen is something called steering. Anyone here familiar with steering? Okay, we had one hand go up. So steering, for example, under familial status would be something akin to a family coming into your property. And let's say you have a garden apartment complex, or